Good afternoon. On the last video I asked the question, is Phuket quiet at the moment? And we sort of answered it. If you are staying in Kamala Beach or looking to stay in Kamala Beach in the next few months, it's give you a very good idea of what that area is like. But it doesn't give the full picture across the island. So today I've come down to Kata Beach. Now Kata Beach, in my opinion, is probably the second most popular place to stay here on the island of Phuket, outside of Patong being the main one. Obviously Kamala and Kata, well, they're pretty close, but as I say, Kata has been for a long time a very popular destination. So we're going to have a look around, we're going to take a look at the beach, but we're not going to start as we did last week on the beach. In fact, we're going to start in town because it's just after 12 o'clock. So let's see what's going on around Kata's town. So we're on the main street really here in Kata. Now there is the main road, but this is the main sort of road that runs near to the beach. I think it's called Kata Road, but I will put it on the screen because my mind's thinking of obviously the video and I can't remember the name of this road, but I believe it's called Kata Road. And of course this is where you're going to find most of the shops, the market areas, because Kata actually has quite a few little market areas. In fact, one of those areas is just across the road. So let's go and take a look and see what's happening in there. A little bit busy with traffic down here, and I actually struggled to park the bike this morning. So because you can see all the parking is full, so that would sort of suggest there's a lot of people here. Is it people visiting or is it the locals? Now I've got Nat with me today helping with the filming, so that's going to make it a little bit easier. So let's just have a quick peek in here and see whether there's anybody in here at all. So this is mainly a food market area, and you can see there's a few people in here. There's plenty of stalls open offering a really good choice of different types of food. So it might be a place you want to check out if you're staying. But let's now go back out onto the road. You can see the market there, open 11 AM till 11 at night, so 11 till 11. That's quite good. So lots of restaurants to pick from here in Kata. It does have a very good choice, probably a bigger choice than even Kamala. And you can see there's one or two people in the restaurants, not packed by any means, but there are some people here in Kata, so that it would suggest that Kata is probably at the moment a little bit busier than Kamala. But I'm gonna reserve my judgment until we go down onto the beach, which we will probably jump to after we've looked at this area here in front. So we've got one restaurant here which is quite popular, the Buffalo Steakhouse. Not open at the moment. Now I don't know whether they're closed full stop or they're just closed in the morning, lunchtime, and they don't open until the evening. But the restaurant next door is open and there's one or two people in there dining. Swaddy Cap, good morning. And then next to that there's a small soy with various businesses down there. I can see a few people mulling about this area, which is a good sign, because Kamala, when we walked around the town, if you remember, it was very, very quiet indeed. It could have had something to do with the time of day, of course. So I've just walked past a number of restaurants and the small shopping plaza that sells clothing rather than food. I didn't film it because they seem to think that midday is the disco time and they got a lot of loud music. So we're making our way a little bit further down, and we're now by the Kata Palm Resort. And I can see just over the back there the motorcycle parking area. It's got a reasonable amount of motorcycles in it. There's a reasonable amount of cars on the car park. So is that locals or is that visitors to the island? Could be tourists, could be a mixture of both. But you can see yourself, we're walking down this main road, as I call it, the main shopping area, and there are people walking about. And we're just after midday, as I mentioned. So this is a sign that this area is more busier than Kamala. So if you prefer areas that are busy in low season, then maybe Kata is going to be a better fit for you rather than Kamala. But if you prefer a little bit more quiet, a little bit more space, maybe go in the restaurants and be able to pick what tables you want to sit at, then maybe Kamala is going to be a bit better fit. Nice hotel there, actually. Very nice. A few people sitting in the reception areas and open areas of the hotel. Not too many, but a few. You can see the weather today. Well, it started off 7 o'clock this morning. It was raining. The last couple of days have been really nice, just like the weather I showed when I was over in Camelot. Very nice weather. But today, not quite so good. A little bit wet start, a little bit more cloud about today. But hopefully it will brighten up towards the end of the day. Cheers. Cheers. Good morning. Or should I say good afternoon? Yes, yes, afternoon now. We've jumped down towards the more northern end of Kata now, so this is where you're going to find the walking street market that takes place at the night. It is open in the afternoon, as you will see. There's a mixture of food vendors inside, obviously fresh produce, and there are also sections that have clothing, accessories towards the back. It's now just coming up to 1 o'clock, so you can see for yourself. Certainly not busy inside, but most people will be down on the beach, that I'm sure. And we're going to be walking down to the beach in a moment. I just want to show you what it's like. This is really the restaurant area, or where you're going to find quite a few restaurants around this area, and the few soys that are adjacent to this area. And just a little bit further along this road, there is the bar area as well. There's a small soy called Soy Spider-Man, and that's where you will find most of the bars. Not all, of course, some of the bars are scattered all around Kata, so you just have to wander around and you'll definitely come across the bars, no problem at all. But of course, there's no point in going and looking at the bar area because most of them will be closed. They mainly open late afternoon. So this area that we're now coming into is really an add-on from the market area. So it just continues along this soy, and the end of this soy comes out opposite the market that we've just looked at. Again, not busy because it's around lunchtime. There's a few vendors open, but not too many. And there's also a few bars within that area and some hotel accommodation as well. But looking very quiet. So we've had a look at the high street, the shopping area. We've also taken a look at some of the restaurants, and now we've arrived at the very well-known Kata Beach. You can see in front quite a few people here. I'm not going to say it's packed because again it's not packed, but there's definitely more people here on Kata's beach today than what there was last week when I filmed Kamala, and I also think there are more people on the high street as well. Not necessarily in the restaurants, because most people go out in the evening time, and of course it's a little after 1 o'clock in the afternoon, coming up towards 2 o'clock, I think. But there are definitely people here on the beach at the minute, and this is the northern end of Kata Beach, and I would personally say this is a little bit less popular than the southern end. And the reason why I say that is because the southern end, of course, has most of the hotel accommodation. There's a few bars down there, because just over the back here is the very large resort Club Med, so that takes up most of this beach here. So people that are staying in that resort obviously come onto the beach in this area, and then people that are staying in maybe the beyond Kata, and there's a few other ones further down that way that you can stay at. Kata Rocks, I believe. There's a few different ones and a few different bars and restaurants down there, so that is also a popular area.
Tony.
So I've just bumped into somebody that actually follows the channel this morning. Karen, sorry,
Yeah,
Karen. Yeah, keep getting the name wrong.
Like
and they've just arrived here in Kata Beach. They've been to one or two other places, Bangkok, Koh Samui, but in particular I want to ask Karen how she's finding Kata Beach.
Yeah, it's lovely. It's busier than what I thought it was going to be. I thought, because of what's happening over in the Far East and that, the Middle East, sorry.
Yeah.
That it would be like less busier than what it is. I
Yeah.
honestly did, but it's actually fun. So I actually changed my flights because I was
okay.
worried about it.
Yeah.
I definitely wanted to come because we were going with Qatar.
So would you say you're surprised the amount of people
yeah,
are here?
I am, to be fair. I am. Yeah, we walked down last night from the Palmery where we're staying, walked along.
Yeah.
And it was quite busy.
Have you stayed in Kata Beach before?
No. Never
So this
done-
is your
yeah,
first time.
our
So you
first
don't
time.
really know whether it's busy or quiet,
No,
because you
not
haven't been in the
really.
high season.
Well, I've heard you say that the different times when it's busy or
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
But yeah, that's all I go on is
And you as a person, do you like busy or do you like quiet?
I like busy because I'm a people watcher. I like watching people. That's why we sort of sit near the entrances, because you see them coming and going and that. And I
Great.
love watching the kids in the sea.
Yeah,
And I just love it.
yeah. Karen's just mentioned she got stung by a little jellyfish
Yeah.
in the sea, the little blue ones. I think those are the dangerous ones, aren't they? What they
Yeah.
called that? Can you remember? What? Magapung. Magapung. Oh, tight name. Yeah, I think that's something dragon, aren't they? The blue dragon or something like that.
He's going up.
Just be very careful with that and keep an eye on, because we do get jellyfish in the low season, if you don't already know. I have covered it before. Sometimes it can be worse than other times, but it was really nice to meet you, Karen.
Nice to
and
meet
great,
you too.
great to get some feedback on the actual beach.
Yeah.
And how long are you here for?
So we're here till the 20th.
20th.
Yeah,
So,
we're staying here quite a while.
okay, so
yeah.
you hopefully you're going to get some good weather. Little
Yeah.
bit unsettled today,
I'm
but
quite happy with overcast at times, because the heat with the sun can be quite overbearing.
so as a person, do you mind the rain or not?
It annoys me a little bit, but
Right. So
What can you
what
do?
makes you choose Thailand in low season then? Because most people know that the weather can be very changeable.
probably because watching people like yourself give you a good indication of when the best time is to come.
Right. Okay.
Because we're just coming into your really rainy season, aren't we? Well, really
Yeah.
busy.
It can.
Although it's been quite bad last week.
Yeah.
I seem to bring the good weather with me.
Good.
I'm quite
You
good
packed
at
the
that.
sun in your suitcase, do
The sun
you?
in the suitcase. I'm
Excellent.
quite good at that, to be fair. So
Okay.
hopefully it stays for everybody else.
Fingers crossed the weather
Yeah.
keeps,
Yeah.
normally in the rainy season, it's just changeable. So if you can handle changeable, then
Yeah,
it's
I
not
can
so
handle
bad.
it, yeah. I live in Reading in England, come on.
Right, okay, yeah. British.
Rest my case. We had 35
Yeah,
degrees and now
yeah.
we've got...
When it rains here, it's not cold, is it? Let's face it. Not like
You
the
actually
UK.
embrace it. You're
Yeah,
like,
that's right. Okay, well, it's been great to meet
Yeah,
you.
nice
Thank
to
you
meet
very
you.
much for the feedback.
No, no worries, no worries. Nice to meet you.
So we've had a tour around Kata, not everywhere, but I have tried to show a fair picture. Let me know in the comments section down below whether you feel that Kata would be better in the low season, because there definitely seems more life here in Kata than there did in Kamala, which we looked at last week. We're also going to take a look at Patong, so that will be next week's video, so watch out for that, because obviously Patong is the main area. So if anywhere's going to be busy, it's going to be Patong. So drop me some comments down below, let me hear some thoughts. Don't forget, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel and you like this sort of content, then you can do that somewhere around here, the subscribe button. And if you've enjoyed the video, please give it a like, because it will really help the video and of course the channel. And I guess that's it. I eat, I ride, I explore. Until next time, I'll see you soon.